celebration of world peace, and thank you to you, Jisley, for nominating me. Um, I just posted on Facebook how difficult it is sometimes for me to receive. I'm constantly giving, I'm constantly working, and often I just go from mission to mission and project to project, and without taking a breath, I forget sometimes to stop for a moment and celebrate. And so thank you, Jisley, for tapping me on the shoulder and say, hey, you really did do something miraculous in our community. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you so much, Jisley. You inspire in ways that I can't even express here today. I grew up poor in West Philadelphia, in the streets of West Philadelphia, the mean streets of West Philadelphia, to a single mother, a teenage mother at the time. And I didn't realize it until recently that the thing that impacted me the most was really my horrific experiences with childhood sexual abuse. I was sexually abused as a child on three different occasions by three different perpetrators, by a neighbor, a pastor, and a relative. I suppressed most of that. I couldn't really shake the relative because it was the last one, and the relatives were always around. But I suppressed those memories, so I didn't really know what was driving my insatiable passion to address injustice, to be a voice for the voiceless, to impact communities in ways that I felt was not being addressed. And whatever I was doing, that was my mission. Even if when I was a journalist, I wanted to get information to communities that were starved of information, so they couldn't, make quality decisions for their life because they didn't have the information or the resources or the access to resources that they deserve. And so even as a journalist, I thought people needed information and that could improve their quality of life. When the crack cocaine epidemic hit the city of Philadelphia, I recognized that people needed more than information, they needed direct service. Um, my friend and co-founder Deborah is on the call today, and we started anti-drug and alcohol crusaders, and through the children in that community, rescued hundreds of parents from the throes of addiction, with children coming to our doors saying, my mommy is on drugs. I haven't seen her in days. Can you help me find her? And, we went about the work of finding mothers and fathers, particularly mothers, in crack houses or wherever we had to go to rescue these parents so that their children could have a chance at life. I did that work for many years. I did that also for the health department, just gathering up organizations and strengthening organizations that were affecting change. I came to recognize that women that are sexually abused, either as a child or as an adult, are three times more likely to use substances. And so that was the first thing I could address because I didn't want to acknowledge the sexual abuse. So addressed the byproduct of it, which was many times and for many people substance abuse. My next mission became um, economic parity, economic equity in communities, particularly communities of color. I felt that entrepreneurship was the only true path to economic prosperity for communities. And I attributed the lack of education, the lack of healthcare, the lack of social interaction, healthy social interaction with poverty. And so I was going to address poverty head on through the organization that I created, which was the African American Female Entrepreneurs Alliance. I later looked at government, so I was looking at every system and creating change models in every system that I had identified as a problem, which led me to government and politics. because I saw as nonprofits were trying to support communities and support people, that they often were hit with barriers from government, and policy barriers that kept them from doing all that they could do, and also funding barriers from government. So I ran for political office in a place where there had not been anyone from my party. There had not been anyone that looked like me. There had not been any female to ever hold elected office in that area. But I felt that I could do it. So, never one to run from a fight or a fire. I dove right in headlong. And, I was able to do tremendous work as Gisley's representative and the representative of the 164th district. I literally changed the landscape of politics in Delaware County as the trailblazer, the first, and the first has its penalties. It has its penalties and it has its enemies, and it makes you a target in many instances. But what I also came to recognize is in this crusade to save everyone, who I was losing most was myself. It was me that suffered the most. It was me that never took the time to care about me, to take care of me, to take care of those around me closest. I was always running out the door to put out the latest fire. People knew that they could call Margo Davidson at 3 in the morning, at 4 in the morning, and tell her that their electricity was off. And by morning time, I had the electric company on the phone demanding that they restore service to XYZ constituent. And spoiler alert, while I had the world on my shoulders, I want you to know that the world is too heavy for any of us to carry alone. And so, of course, at some point, if you're constantly trying to save everyone, running into fires, running into places where no one has gone before, you're going to hit a wall. And you're going to hit a wall and you're going to hit it hard. And that's what happened. I was trying to save everyone and forgot to save myself, which led me on the path in the last 2 years of healing and recognizing what drove me to such passion. I was trying to save that little girl that no one had saved, and recognizing that I needed to go back and save her, to save her, to make her whole, to make her healthy, to make her happy. I love what you said, Deborah, about, getting, fitness and all the stuff that's inside of you together. Get that together. And so I went full circle and went back and addressed those childhood traumas that I hadn't addressed, and recognized what things that I saw in other people that I was trying to save, that I was ignoring in myself, which makes us a more effective leader when we recognize those things that are in us that are hurting and we address those things. We're more effective in reaching those folks that God has assigned to us to reach. One of my life scriptures is "Sing, O barren woman," in Isaiah 54. And it talks about a woman that was forsaken and grieved, and only God was there to save her. And so at the end of the chapter, she breaks forth on the left and on the right, and it becomes fruitful and productive. And the message that I want to leave you with today is: save yourself first, put on your oxygen mask, and then save everyone else around you. And we can, land the plane together in a place of safety. We can be productive and support one another and make this world a better place. But if we don't take care of ourselves first, we're going to hit a wall. it's going to come to a screeching halt at some point because there's holes in the armor. And so I'm just so grateful that I've had these 2 years to really focus on what was really hurting me, what was really driving me to be a voice for the voiceless and a champion for the championless. And I'm still that. I'm still that. But I'm also a champion for Margo. And I'm also a voice for little Margo, that inner child that was so hurt and so abandoned and so bruised. And so now, as I relaunch my mission and my passion, particularly focused on women, because we deny ourselves like no other gender. We deny ourselves. We deny ourselves for our children. We deny ourselves for our parents. We deny ourselves for our spouses. We deny ourselves for our significant others. And so I want to, in this era, in this final chapter of my mission on this earth, is to uplift women, to celebrate themselves, and to celebrate what God placed in them to give to the world and to help them to give that most effectively. And I thank you so much for all that you do, each one of you, and for recognizing the work that I have given. And thank you, Gisley, for making me cry.
Thank you very much. Your story was very, very touching. Thank you for sharing. And you're right, we have to